shiny head.
No more shiny head.
Oh, yeah.
Put a head on it. Put a head on it. He's taking the seat. He's checking it twice.
No more Christmas. I'm sick of it.
It's not even here yet.
I know.
Humbug.
I don't even hate. I don't hate Christmas the way I used to, but I'm still just kind of. That's why we watched Luther the Geek.
Luther the Geek.
No,
Yeah.
I know this will be released probably on Christmas, but we're not watching a Christmas movie today. We're watching Luther the Geek.
Yeah. 1989.
Oh, I'm glad somebody looked.
Yeah, I looked it up.
Was that when it was based or when it came out?
when it came out?
Oh, okay.
89. Yep. So yeah, this one was pretty fun. Yeah. We start off with what's it, Tom? It's talking about like a freak show kind of a thing, right?
So this was a real thing.
In like the 30s or something.
Yeah, this was a real thing back with traveling carnivals. And I remember my dad telling me about this. See the Geek.
Yeah.
And it'd be a freak in a cage, and he would bite the heads off of chickens or maybe even rats, and just act like basically a sick wild man kind of character.
Impressed how the term had changed over the years of geek.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
So like
It's
geek
true,
geek
yeah.
nowadays, you think like tech nerd or something like
Right.
that, really into comics. They were using the term geek back then for carnies.
A guy.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
yeah,
Or
specific.
a specific kind of carny.
Yeah.
Freak show. It
Yeah.
was a freak show thing. We start with this movie. We have a barn, and just like this was really weird. This mob of hillbillies, farmers in their overalls
With torches.
with torches. Again with the torches.
Again with the torches, except this time it sort
Makes
of makes sense.
more
It's the
sense.
30s, yeah.
But the thing that doesn't make sense is that they're just like angrily chanting "Geek, Geek, Geek, do it, Geek, Geek," and they just storm into this because I mean, you'd think if this is a carnival, it's gonna be people laughing, having fun. Oh, look at this fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
These guys angrily storm into this barn.
It was like they were forced to do this.
I don't know. I mean, like they were gonna lynch the guy or something,
Yeah.
but instead they just give him a chicken so he can. So there's a guy in the cage and he bites the head off the chicken.
Well, this is like at night. This isn't like while the show's going on.
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
no, but it makes you think that at first, but then you have the woman come in, who was obviously dressed like she was part of a carnival,
Yeah.
like a circus. Remember
Yeah,
that?
that's right.
So
Yeah.
so what we have is the geek bites the head off the chicken. All the guys are like then disgusted and like, oh. So they came in angry and then they're disgusted.
I mean, you asked for it.
As this is happening, one boy runs in, and
Gets
as he's
pushed down.
trying to see the geek, he gets pushed down. He breaks all of his front teeth, and then
Holds him in
and
his hand.
all the guys run off, and then he like goes over and he's looking at the geek, and the geek is like doing his weird face, and the kid walks over and like smears his hand into the chicken blood. And
Yeah, they have
licks
a
it.
moment.
Yeah, he has a connection. So where do we go from here in the story?
I would like to see the prison time, but you don't see that. How was he a model?
They did
Prisoner.
say he was the perfect prisoner.
Yeah. So he's been locked up at this point for what did it say, second degree murder,
Like 3 murders.
Three
Yeah,
murders.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's been locked up for a while, and 25 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's been showing perfect behavior. We're sitting around a table in some, like lawyer's office or something, and they're all discussing whether or not he should be let out of prison for good behavior, basically. He served his time. They feel like it's been so long ago now. He's a different person. People can change. One of them is what is it? A bleeding heart bitch.
Yeah. Let him out. We're
Yeah.
rehabilitating these people.
That guy killed. He owned that scene. It was so. I mean, it was terrible at the acting, in my opinion. He just kept like
Oh yeah, so over the top and
rubbing
weird.
his face.
Yeah,
and just,
yeah.
But he did say some funny shit.
Eyes wide. Oh, it was
Yeah.
funny. Yeah.
So yeah, it ends up being he's on parole for 3 out of 4 or three. Yeah.
Yeah, he killed 3 people.
Yeah.
No, you're talking about the
I'm talking about the people who
Yeah.
voted. So anyway,
Yeah.
they voted to let him out. He's good to go. I think after that we immediately cut to
jump
the
to-
grocery store, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We just see, and he really does look up a picture of Ron Howard. like imagine a deranged Ron Howard with metal teeth stuffed into his face that he's like trying to.
Yeah, Ron Howard's
Hold on.
brother is what that is.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it could have been that. That would have been perfect, actually. Clint
Clint?
Howard. Yeah, Clint Howard would have been great for this part. But that's what he looks like, and he walks into the supermarket. He starts eating eggs, raw eggs. He's cracking.
Yeah, he
them.
bites off the top
Yeah.
and then drink. Oh, God, that part was really gross looking to me.
Yeah, that's the gross
just
part.
like all the egg whites and stuff like going
Yeah.
down. Ugh, ugh.
like chicken jizz down his face.
Chicken jizz on my shiny head.
On my shiny head. Luther had his shiny head, didn't he?
He did. Yeah,
yeah.
he had the
It's
horseshoe
like
thing
me and Ron
going
Howard.
on.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and he comes out. He sits down. He gets kicked out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's-
buddy. Buddy, just follow me. Hey, you kid, call the police. You just follow me, buddy. We're gonna get you out of here.
He sits down by a woman on the bench and he pulls up. She's nice to him or whatever, old lady who we thought was a guy in drag.
Yeah.
kind of.
She had man hands and looked like an Adam's apple to
I
me,
do
too.
think she was just a little
She's
old
just
lady.
an old
though,
lady.
I think.
yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong. This is a trauma movie,
Yeah.
by the way. So if you've seen any of those and you kind of know, you could already start painting pictures in your head.
But he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out an egg and he tries to give it to her and she's like, "Oh," tries to take it. And she drops it and it splatters. And he immediately flies into a rage and tears her throat out with his metal teeth.
Yes, and these kill scenes are pretty cool. Like they're super bloody and gory, and yeah, I like it.
Yeah, and this is where we're like, how did he get out of prison? Because he is completely insane.
Yeah.
He never speaks a single word the whole movie. He clucks like a chicken and stalks around in just an angry kind of. He goes from one thing to another to the other. Just not. There's no thought in him. He's just like raging
He's
around.
just a chicken acting killing machine.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
I think. I mean, his character itself. We could talk about that a second. I thought it was fantastic. Really crazy kind of expressions.
Oh, you're talking
Just-
about the dude?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
just the
he
guy,
had to be
yeah,
over
just
the top.
the
Yeah.
Luther himself, just
Yeah.
as he's a great slasher villain because he's
Yeah.
he's completely insane. He's screaming and just rage and just the clucking and all that shit was great.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So we are after the grocery scene. He's this is important to say. So the cops have been called and everyone's around this woman who's just been murdered, and you see Luther is running around the parking lot trying to find a car to get into to hide. He gets into this woman's car, and then here we are introduced to our I guess I'll call her our main character. So she, Mrs. Lawson, she was in the grocery store. She gets in her car and drives home, and Luther has been in the back seat the whole time.
She got eggs when she has
She
chickens.
got So we get to her house, and she's got a barn full of chickens, but she for some reason bought eggs at the
Yeah.
grocery store.
You don't want to get into your own product.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
what are they? Cocaine eggs? These-
I mean, the way he enjoyed them. I mean, maybe
I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
he was really into those eggs.
So we're at Mrs. Lawson's house. She lives there. We won't skip too much ahead.
Yeah.
He gets out. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. She's unloading her groceries. He sneaks into the barn, bites the head off a chicken.
Immediately, like just fucking
Yeah.
beeline.
And this was so funny because you're still not sure at this point what kind of killer he is.
Yeah.
Not entirely. But then he's in the barn. She goes in her house. She's unloading the groceries. And then you immediately just see him out in the yard going toward the door.
Yes,
and
that
he
scene.
just charges.
She's just still standing
Still
there.
not
just,
saying anything. She's just looking at him, broad daylight. and he just charges toward the door. And he like goes through the screen door, just like and she's like, "What?" It's just,
What the fuck is happening?
yeah, it's just
Reaches
it's
for a gun mounted on her
it's
wall.
so immediate and funny.
Oh, yeah, it's
how that
hysterical.
happens. Just
Yeah, and it actually is because it sort of takes you off guard to where it sort of has that creepy thing to it too, where you're like, God, I don't want anyone charging at me like that. That's
yeah, there's no
terrifying.
like pretense of sneaking around or anything,
Yeah.
There's no thought put into it. He's just like going. He's going in, and he's gonna get what he wants.
So she grabs a gun, and they're fighting each other off, and he knocks her out essentially, and throws her on this bed very humorously as well. I might add. It cuts to a scene where you just see the bed, and she just just like flies down onto it. Oh yeah, so he starts tying her up, which makes you think it's going to get a little rapey. He's got the bed sheets, he's ripping them, and puts the gag in and all that good jazz. So yeah, that's where she's at, and then we're introduced to daughter and
Rob.
And Rob, what a goon! He was such a slime ball.
What did she say when she came in to the house and the glass was broken?
Oh
The
yeah,
door?
yeah. So she had to break in the house. Miss Lawson did because she forgot the keys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she broke in the.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay, I was
Okay,
doubting
yeah,
myself
yeah.
for a minute, but yeah, she broke the glass.
Yeah, I thought it was
I can't remember what
something
she
more
said.
weird. Yeah.
But anyway, so daughter's outside. Luther what catches his attention because you hear this motorcycle revving.
Mm-hmm.
He looks out the window, and then we're introduced to the daughter and her boyfriend Rob.
Yeah, so he went out of the house. They got
Yeah.
into the house, and then he stole the motorcycle they came in on.
Yeah.
Which let's not skip over the
Boob scene.
the boob scene. Great, very good.
There was a boob scene.
choice.
Yeah, some good
Grade
tits
A
for sure.
Grade A boobs with and a little bit too long probably of a sex scene. I think all things considered,
Yeah.
it got a little bit.
Yeah, it did.
awkward.
Yeah.
Where you start to go like,
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's not porno quality. It's yeah. It's weird.
It's no 9 Lives of a Wet Pussy.
Yeah.
not yet.
We don't know though for sure.
Not yet.
Yeah.
It's not an
More to
X-rated
come.
feature.
Next thing you know, you're going to be doing reviews every night. You just keep ordering these movies. You're just
4 faps out of 5.
yeah.
There's just a picture of the fucking Kleenex at the end.
Oh God, I love it. So yeah, he, like you were saying, the kids are inside fucking, and Luther is like, I need to get the fuck out of here. So he steals the motorcycle. Rob is like, I'm gonna dip out this pussy and go chase after my bike, and
She's like, what?
Yeah,
Why?
like, Rob, where you going? So he's running outside, and he ends up catching it because Luther wrecks the bike and is just laying there in the grass looking dead. Even though
Because
he's going
Luther is barely human.
This is
He
true.
doesn't know how
Yeah.
anything works or happens. It's like,
It is really funny because when you're looking out the window, Rob is looking out the window of his bike, and he's just like trying to start this thing, and it looks very genuine. Like this dude, it
If
looks
that's
like what I would.
That's what I was gonna say. That's like if I was trying to start up a motorcycle.
So, Luther gets to Rob, and we don't know if he's dead. He just kind of beats the shit out of him pretty good. And then,
Hunter stumbles on him. He kills the hunter.
oh
Fights
yeah,
his-
that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
I forgot about that. The hunter
Yeah.
part. Yeah.
Lamest
Wait,
hunter.
that's a bit later, I thought.
No.
Because he went
he's right.
back.
Yeah, he's right.
Luther went back, and then he's like, "Oh shit!"
He grabbed the car. And
yeah,
then brought it
because
back.
the
Yeah.
phone started ringing. He destroyed the phones.
okay.
And then he went back out, and he's like, "Fuck, gotta go get this dude."
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie, it's a very simple setup. Everything is, which is cool to me as far as how you can make a very entertaining slasher horror, kind of horror movie, and it's such a simple premise. It's just set up. Okay, you have this guy that's
Crazy chicken guy.
fucked up about chickens. He clucks like a chicken. He doesn't. He's barely human, and he's just crazy.
Yeah.
And he just gets to this house, and then you have this sort of, you have the family members coming in, you have the cop coming in a little bit later here, the stupid cop, and
Yeah, cop comes
and so
to
then
check.
just it's sort of the cat and mouse kind of thing coming
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
There's nothing really more complicated about it than that.
No, absolutely not. I mean, once it's a trauma movie, they're all kind of
Straightforward.
yeah, they're all yeah. I feel like you just sort of know what you're getting into. Kind of. This was a little bit different, but anyway, yeah. So I guess it just depends on how deep into stuff you guys want to go. We can go ahead and skip to the cop. Or we can
Like when the cop comes back, or the cop.
yeah,
at the beginning?
so there's a police officer, the daughter the whole time. At this point, she's came across the mom, sees that she's bound and all that good stuff to the bed. She's trying to help her get let go.
Won't go get scissors.
Yeah, she's not the brightest young lady in the world. She
God gave her gifts in other areas.
she is good at math. No, I'm just kidding. So she's been kind of hiding out under the bed, trying to help her mom, but she's sort of like in this like state of shock because she doesn't know if Rob is dead or not, and Luther's been in and out of the house, so it's kind of like she's just waiting for this.
She saw Luther wearing her boyfriend's
That's right.
boots.
She saw because
These ugly ass red boots.
red and black boots. So yeah, we eventually get to where she comes out of the bed. She helps the mom, but then was it Luther comes in and she has to go? Oh yeah, because
No, she
Luther
turned it
is
back.
outside
Yeah.
with Rob.
Yeah.
and they're honking the horn of the car.
Yeah.
and he's got Rob, I think at gunpoint at that point, right? Like
He's
the
got a
knife
shotgun
comes
to
later.
his
Yeah,
head.
yeah. So she's luring him down. So the daughter's like, "Here, mom," gives her the knife after she's got one hand free. Like, "Here, cut yourself free." And the mom's like, "What are you leaving me?" It's like, well, you could just do a little work yourself. But anyway, so the daughter goes out there and she helps Rob inside. Luther's with them, and then we're introduced to the police officer who comes knocking on the door to check on Mrs. Lawson because they are now aware, the police are, of Luther the Geek's craziness that is happening. Yes.
Patrick, how are you feeling about this movie up to this point?
Oh, I mean, this point, yeah, it was great. This point.
Had you fallen asleep yet, or?
No, I was falling asleep towards the end of it. Still kind of sleepy, but yeah. No, it was great. The cop though, weird as fuck. It was a weird cop.
Why do you say so?
I wish I could remember. I just remember he was really weird.
Well, he was
And a
just kind
shitty cop.
of like young and dopey kind of
Yeah.
cop,
And then
Well, he was like mean as shit to her. She's like runs out and she's like, she's like, everybody's dead. My daughter's
Oh,
dead.
yeah,
the
the second
boyfriend's
part.
dead.
Oh, just shut up.
Yeah, he's like, shut up, get behind me.
I came back for the coffee.
He like grabs her and like yanks her behind him. He's like, show me where.
Yeah.
And she's like crying and shit.
Come back in this house where the killer supposedly is and lead me towards him.
Ain't nobody in here.
So, yeah, go ahead. You sound like you were about to say something.
No, I was just saying, I don't know if we have to go through every twist and
That's
turn.
what I was just about to
Yeah.
say, too. Let's go ahead and kind of...
Basically, there's that kind of slasher movie back and forth. People hiding. He's looking for them. Then they actually go after him because at one point you literally have the daughter and the boyfriend dead. You've got the mother, or we'll say the MILF. You have the MILF and the cop, the sheriff's deputy. They're just there, and then they're like, where is he at? And then fucking Luther comes out of the barn.
Dancing.
He's like dancing and clucking at them. Bonk, 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 bonk. He's taunting them. And the cop tells her, go into the house. I'm going to go get him.
He
And,
beelines for a tree.
which is... He does do the tactical side move to the tree.
This
So
tree
then-
is so far out from this barn.
Yeah. And... Yeah, it's one of those. Usually, these movies they're running from the thing, and somehow the killer can always catch up to him.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like they're just throwing themselves at it to die.
Yes, yeah.
It really did kind of go into that kind of. There was no reason to do that, but whatever. I always I expect people to be stupid in these kind of movies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
obviously.
for sure. When they're running around clucking like a chicken. you don't sit there and go over this shit with a fine-tooth comb like, well, they could have done this. The brains behind this operation. That's not a bad thing. I like this stuff.
Oh, it was fantastic. It's just you could think about, a director thinking, okay, what would an actual person do? How would we set up this scenario to where this is a real reaction that a person would have? And I feel like that would actually kind of lend more impact to it if they made a decision that you said, yeah, that's the right decision, and it went completely wrong. I almost feel like that would be more impactful than why the fuck would you do that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
yeah, so let's go ahead and get to this batshit ending. So it's just Luther and Mrs.
Chicken
Lawson
shit
now.
ending.
Yeah, chicken shit ending. They're in this barn, and it's now morning. So they've been in there all night, and Luther comes back in. I guess he had thought that the woman was dead, or either that, or was planning on doing something with her later because she had fallen down and knocked herself unconscious.
all this is in this time as well. He has killed the cop. The cop is dead.
Cop's dead.
We're at the end. We've jumped to the very end.
Yeah.
So we
that scene of it, like you said, the cat and mouse, it just lasts so long.
it does. This goes too long.
Yeah,
running around
This
in the barn.
giant
shit.
barn.
Yeah, it's enormous. Somehow.
So much space.
It's so big.
So, yeah, let's talk about this weird love thing that happens at the end. So Luther goes up to Mrs. Lawson, who's just staying there where she fell and bumped her head against the thing. Chickens are running around everywhere. He's coming in with a sack to collect some chickens.
He's collecting chickens. In a sack.
And these poor
Real
chickens.
He's stuffing in this bag.
These poor things are just like, what the fuck is going on?
Can't do that nowadays.
No,
They get
no.
upset about that shit. Go on Instagram and there's people like cuddling with fucking chickens and kissing them and shit.
Get that E. coli and shit.
Yeah.
So,
Bird flu.
so Luther goes up to her and, it's just like, doing his thing that he's done a million times at this point. And she starts clucking back at him. And this confuses Luther.
Seductively.
Yeah, seductively. Yeah. At first he's confused, and then he gets very excited, and he begins to run around, doing the thing, and all this crazy shit.
Like an excited champion rooster.
It is so much fun to watch because it's shit like that we all do. We act like idiots all the time. So, like, to me, it's like, that is so fun. Like, it's so ridiculous and so stupid, and I loved every second of it. So she's going right along with it, and her plan works. See, we've got a plan. So while he's just having a heyday, like, I've just found the love of my fucking life, that poor bastard gets shot straight through the fucking chest. Miss Lawson pulls that gun out, and she's like, motherfucker,
Poor
and shoots him.
Luther.
Poor Luther.
It's just a misunderstood boy.
So yeah, the very end is we're left with her just maniacally clucking and
Did blood splatter
sobbing
on her?
from him.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Why?
I was thinking too deep into it because the first Geek did that, and then Luther licked the blood from the chicken.
As if
so
it was a curse.
like it was like a transfer or
Geek
something.
curse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I said when we
Yeah.
were watching, I was hoping she would reach over and bite the head off one of the chickens.
Yeah,
Like she had gone mad in the same way that he did.
Yeah.
Sadly, that didn't happen.
Or if that was the same barn.
Yeah, we had that idea too.
Yeah, the bar. Yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I did. I feel like we say this all the time, but it is true. I think it's just something we're just gonna have to get used to with these kind of movies that they're trying to hit a timestamp for the most part, and like most of them do have points that just lull.
Yeah.
I would go with a 4 buckets of popcorn on this one. I really did genuinely think this one was funny.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was really, really humorous. So I think that's kind of what gives it that 4 for me, is its amount of humor and originality. I think it's really funny and a really cool idea. And part of that cool idea, I think, is just the simplicity of it. Just like, we don't need an explanation. And as much as I do think it would have been cool to see some jail time, I also do appreciate the fact they're like, we don't need none of that shit. This dude is just insane. He likes to cluck like a chicken, and he likes to kill people. Like that's it. So I would give it 4. I recommend it. Yeah.
Patrick, what do you think?
I'm gonna give it a 3. I think they should have like shifted some time from the cat and mouse scene put it in just to maybe just do kind of like a little montage of him in prison. I know whenever he was sharpening up his teeth, I guess that was his prison time. But that
Playing grab ass in the showers.
grab ass in the shower, putting bars of soaps in each other's butts, whatnot.
Wait, is that what you do with the soap in prison?
Apparently,
Shove it in each other's butts. Is that how it works?
I mean that's
okay.
nature's
I don't
pocket.
know, but I will.
But yeah, I'll give it about. I'll do 3.5.
Okay.
That's what I'll give it though. That's
All right, Nathan.
I have to go. I'm gonna go 5. I'm gonna go 5 on this.
Okay.
Mhm.
I just. It was Luther is a great. I don't know if there's a specific name for the killer in a slasher film. That is what this is, right? It's a slasher film.
I don't know
Okay.
about it being slasher.
I wouldn't
wouldn't
steer
call
it
it a
too far
slasher?
off from that. I mean,
Yeah. He didn't really use a knife too much. He used his teeth.
well, the rules on
Yeah, but-
slashers are,
How it works is basically slasher. I just think his character was so funny and crazy and just usually you kind of see these figures in these movies and it's like a lot of times they almost sort of develop that supernatural aspect of they sort of you can't kill them and they're always one step behind and that kind of
Luther's
shit.
very vulnerable.
Yeah, he's fucking stupid as shit. He's just running around crazily, clucking like a chicken. He just runs at any kind of stimulus. Like, remember the phone rings and he goes crazy.
Yeah.
And he's like, ah! Ah! And he's like,
Bashing the shit
yeah,
out of
he's
it.
destroying everything. I thought I love that kind of madness. And there was some other movie that we were watching that had that for a second. There was that villain kind of had that screaming madness. I can't remember what it was, but maybe it'll come to me.
Yeah, I can't
On
recall.
the drive home, and I'll remember it.
There's
But-
gonna be a lot of
but-
things coming to you. Shiny hair. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I thought that was really awesome, and great tits.
Yeah.
Kill scenes were great.
Yeah.
Like good, gory, blood splattering. I mean, the boyfriend had his fucking heart beating outside of his
Yeah.
body.
Yeah, that was cool.
Like all gory, messed up shit. There was a part where it dragged a little, but I still thoroughly had a good time with it. It was a great movie.
Sure.
So, yeah. I'd put this up there with something like Mutilator. As far as old slasher movies.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. That's cool. No, I love it. I love it, man. I really did. I had a great time with it.